Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Randomize and this is Dirt Rally with Dirt Rally 2.0 coming out, I think, either very soon or just it's already come out. I thought I'd come back to this as the start, just to fulfill some rally racing itch that I've had recently, but also, you know, to finish something that I started a while back. This channel has been very stagnant for a while, and there's a lot of reasons that sort of go into that. A lot of things have been going on, but hopefully we'll be able to reinvigorate it, at least with a bit more stuff going on the channel, a few more things happening here and there. Got a few cool things that we hopefully should be starting up pretty soon, and this is one of them. So if you have hung around on my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I started a brief thing on Dirt Rally, which ended very, very quickly, primarily because I just, the main idea was that I wanted to stop doing what I always do in rally games, which is the quest for perfection, quest for a perfect run, and, you know, resetting your attempts so often every time you make a single mistake and never really getting anywhere. And you tire very quickly of the stages if you're seeing that first half of the stage 5 times every time you drive it. So I wanted to try something. So I tried to limit the amount of times that I was going to restart the stages. And that would have worked well had I not been particularly weak at the time. The temptation to cheat, my own rules and stuff like that was very much still there. So we're hopefully going to do something different and hopefully be a nice test of my own personal resolve, as it were, to see if I can not mess this up as I have been so frequently previously. So what we're going to do, so we're going to do a career going through, and we're going to go through the vehicles much as we were doing last time. See my team management, I just have someone else along for the ride. And yeah, so we're going to do some championships, some rally championships. But the rules are, and these are the rules that I've made, is that I have had half an hour of practice with the vehicle that I'm going to use, which is the Mini Cooper, and also on the stages that I've seen. So I've already seen which stages are going to be here as we go to Greece. We have these 4 stages in the Greece Rally, and I pretty much have practiced them for half an hour, getting to grips with a few things, making sure I was familiar with them. I've obviously played this game a fair amount before, so I do know which tracks, you know, I am familiar with the tracks. But the idea is that I have half an hour to familiarize myself with the car and also with the stage, and now is my challenge. Now I have to go through everything all at once, and then we're not going to restart whatsoever. No restarts, nothing at all. We're just going to go through it pure and simple. If it goes terribly, then it goes terribly. If it goes beautifully well, then even better. And we will see how we do. Hopefully, you know, this should give me more of that sort of true rally idea, which is, you know, you've got one shot every time that you sort of, you know, you take to the wheel. So, I've spoken a lot about Dirt Rally, as I realise that the biggest issue I'm going to have here is making sure that I can, like, pay attention to the co-driver calls and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, so I've spoken a bit about Dirt Rally, but I might as well talk about it again. It is released in 2015, I think. I'm playing it on my PlayStation 4. I didn't get it that early. You know, I only got it last year, it must have been now. So I've had it for about maybe 9 months or so. So I didn't get it when it came out. Got it on a very decent sale as we nearly go off there. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's, I think, rally driving and racing games that sort of... these sort of racing games are really, really fun. And I've always liked good challenging racing games, and this is certainly got a good challenge to it. You do need to be very careful with a lot of how you control the car and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I used to play stuff like Colin McRae Rally 2.0. What a game that was. I played that on my PC with a wheel and pedals and all that. It was great fun sort of racing. Remember, you know, trying to get full into things. Really wanted to try it again, but unfortunately it seems like my disc, or the disc that we have, you know, old now that it is not doing too well, and it's very difficult to find, or at least I'm finding it very difficult. I'm sure there are ways to do it, but I've been finding it very difficult to get to find a way online to actually set it up, especially given that, you know, my current computer is a Mac, so not exactly perfect for gaming. So yeah, but yeah, no, so the whole rally idea, it has always been there. I've had lots. I really started with racing games, to be fair. Before I really got into the stuff that I love nowadays, you know, I played a lot of racing games before, you know, I started playing Crash, Bandicoot, or I started playing the PlayStation 4 sort of, or the PlayStation classics that we start seeing now. As we're getting green sector, good signs. So yeah, so racing games have always been there, and Rally is just one of those really, it's a really almost, it fulfills a very different niche to a lot of other, you know, racing sports, like stuff like,
into caution, left 6, press
stuff
jump
like
maybe, left 6,
Formula 1 games, or
right 6, left
I think I had a
6,
touring car
left
game,
4
you know, stuff like
right
this,
5, don't cut
and
100.
even stuff like, you know, your Mario Karts and your classic kart races. Very excited for the Crash Team Racing remake. I mean, it's better than Mario Kart as it is, so hopefully they'll be able to get the controls back down to how perfectly they were in the original. But yeah, no, so, you know, Rally gives a very different type of racing to a lot of the other stuff, and it's something that you can really only find in Rally, as we have a pretty big incident. Please don't fall off the track. Okay. Well, that's screwed up my times. Unfortunately, we lost about 15 seconds there, probably.
Right 6. Into keep left over small press 60, keep right
which
over
probably
press.
means that we won't be able to win the rally.
And
I need to
left 6.
pay more attention.
Into right 1.
But yeah, no, so rally also, you know, it gives you a very different feel. The way the car, you know, goes with the undulations and the natural paths of the road is really, really interesting.
Left 5 long.
Has always been something that I very much enjoyed.
Right 6 long into left 6.
And this
and right 6
this game seems to be the sort of the natural continuation of where the rally game should be heading.
Into left 4 continues for 80.
For a game that is really, that, you know, is actually pretty old by now, it's still very, very pretty. The controls are great. I haven't tried every single vehicle, but I know I love the controls of certain ones, and I cannot for the life of me get to grips with the rear-wheel drive cars yet. So we'll see how I fare when it comes around to that time.
And right 660, keep left.
But yeah, no, so
120.
it seems like a natural purchase for me, and I have very much enjoyed the time that I have spent when I have been playing it, so it's very good. So 17 seconds down. If we hadn't had that big incident, I think we still wouldn't have won, but we'd have been closer, certainly. But still, only second place, which is a good position to be in at this point. So I need to talk about the game and how it's structured. So, as you can see, we have we're currently in an open championship. There are 5 levels of difficulty that go from open all the way up to master. The main things that change as you go are the number of stages in particular. And I think the main way they do difficulty in this game is that rather than the peak times get faster and faster and faster, or to a significant degree, there's sort of like a range which may well move. Again, I haven't actually like fully tested this or anything like that. But I believe that there are a sort of like, there's a range of fastest times that the leader is chosen from. And then as you increase the difficulty, pretty much the other drivers get closer and closer to that fastest time. As we have had an absolute mare here.
Into right 5, don't cut 60.
Yeah, it's not gone well. Oh well. So yeah,
right 6, long,
that was
crest.
disappointing to say the least. Not the way you want to start a stage.
Left 6, 60.
But still, no, we gotta keep
Right,
going.
6,
I already have
Left 6, crest.
the urge to want to
Into
try and
right 3,
restart,
long,
but
down.
we won't. So yeah, so on the hard difficulties,
Into
they
caution, left 5,
essentially
don't
scrunch
cut.
everything up.
Right 4, keep out. 60 over crest.
And
Left
so you
4
need to be,
continues for 90.
you know, an even better
And
percentage
caution,
of
right 6.
the race leader's
Into immediate
time
hairpin
in
left.
order to have any chance of victory overall.
Right 4.
I don't know if that's exactly the same. It wouldn't surprise me if like the range
right.
of your like leading time sort of increases
Into
as you
left
go
6,
along. But from what I've seen, like sometimes
And right 6
the
through
times that you seem to
60.
be facing seem to be quite generous,
Hairpin left
and you're
around
actually,
tree.
you know, being very competitive with a lot of the
100
CPUs.
up.
Like this time, you know, when I'm not making mistakes, I'm on par or losing a
Hairpin
couple
right.
of seconds to the lead CPU, which is about sort of what you want
Right 6.
in comparison to
80.
in other ones where
Left 6,
sometimes
half a
they'll
long.
be like, you know, you feel like you've done a really good stage and
caution,
you'll still
right
be
6.
like 15 seconds down. So I think there's definitely a
hairpin
range
left 80, over
of values
crest.
that the CPUs can take from.
And crest jump maybe.
Did not break soon enough there.
Right 6, 60.
But again, always willing to be proven wrong
Hairpin
if that is
right,
the case,
150.
or if that isn't the case. So yeah, I mean, like, you know, first we lost 20,
Small
and
crest,
there we're
left
pretty much
6,
exactly
long
the same.
crest.
We're not taking these hairpins particularly well. But yeah, so like that maximum,
And caution, turn right 3
or like
times over
that
jump,
range
60
of values
down.
that the CPUs can take may well increase
Narrows.
as you go up.
Left 4 long, opens and tightens over jump.
But yeah, I mean, what I really want to see this is just like a gradual
Into right
improvement
4
and
long,
a
tightens,
ironing out of
3,
the
don't
mistakes
cut.
that
Into left 6,
are so
80,
costly
over
in
crest,
like in
jump.
rallies in general. Like,
Left 5 long,
if you make a
60.
mistake, then you know that's your rally over. So you want to be looking
Left
for
6.
perfection. You want to be pushing at the you know, going as fast as
And
possible
right 4 long, don't
whilst
cut. Up.
staying in control the whole time.
Left 6, small jump.
As we're really trying to slowly haul
Right
ourselves
6
up this big
and
hill.
left 6, 110 up.
Lost a couple of seconds that sector, but that's okay. So again, I mean, if you look at these two currently, we've had two big incidents
hairpin
and
left.
lost about 20 seconds in each. So it makes sense that we're
Right
we're
5
losing
long.
time. Yeah, so I think that's how the difficulty works. Going back
100
to
crest,
the
80.
structure, so and then what
Left 6,
happens is
100.
the difficulty matters because the
Caution, right
championship
2,
or the
half long.
degree of difficulty of the championship that you race
Into
at
turn hairpin
varies,
left.
depends on where you start. So regardless
right
of what you
6, 80
start
over
with,
crest.
you get given a sort of a set amount of money at the start, so you can buy a car, and then
Caution,
you
right
race
4,
that,
don't
and
cut,
obviously you can
stay
only buy
mid.
certain cars because the really high level cars are too
100 to
expensive for you
finish.
at that point. Yeah, lost some time at the end there as well. But the key thing is then after that, as we drop down we lose a few things there. Lose out. Second overall, that's annoying. So, anyway, I keep getting sidetracked by what's actually going on at each point. So, the reason it's important is because regardless of which rally you start, you'll always be at the Open Championship. If you finish in the top 3 of the Open Championship over the course of all 6 rallies, because there are 6 locations in the game, then you get promoted to the next championship, which would be Clubman, I think. And then it continues going up through Professional to something, and then Master. I can't remember exactly if that's the right order, but so you have this sort of progression through as you go on. Another thing that happens is that your vehicles, as you drive more and more with each vehicle, your vehicle will gain improvements to it. So we'll find that this Mini will be getting better and better, faster and faster as we go through. So that might also be having a pretty significant effect on the results that we see in each rally.
Into left 3 long, 100.
So it's a little frustrating because it means that if you want to race on the hardest difficulty, you inevitably have to race at 4 slower difficulties to get up. And if you're currently if you want to just have a short rally, you can't, or a short championship, it's very difficult to do that because the shortest ones are only available when you're actually driving pretty slowly. The shorter rallies are only available at the open level because as you go up through the difficulties, you gain more and more tracks to each rally. So in every open championship, you'll have 4 tracks per rally. If you go to Clubman, you'll have 6, and etc. And they increase sort of linearly like that. So this issue where if you really want to do a Masters Championship, you need to grind up, and if you get to that Masters and then immediately want to play just an open one, just for a bit of fun, then you need to lower that, you need to lose 4 rallies in a row. And losing is okay, I guess, because you can just sort of default quit every single stage, but that's still a lot of time spent. And it's a pity that you can't do a full you can't do like a custom championship. You obviously have the ability to have custom rallies, which should be noted, and that's indeed how I practice. I set up a custom rally with the tracks that that will come up in the one that's in here. So I've done this track and the previous 2 and the next one. So you can easily set up the custom ones, but the championship mode it's a little strange in that regard. Additionally, because like all of your earnings, all of the money that comes to is paid attention with the CP. I think they're like championship points or whatever. The money system that the game has for you to buy better engineers such that you can repair your car more efficiently, or just so you can get the better vehicles. Whereas in the championship mode, that is, obviously you can practice with I think any of the vehicles in the pre-play mode, so don't worry too much about that.
Into left 6.
Okay, something else to note is that this is obviously the reverse of the track that we just did. So the rallies are split into each location, so 6 locations being Greece, Germany, Wales, Sweden, Finland, and Monte Carlo. So all Europe, it's barely a world championship, just a European championship. I think in Dirt 2 they're actually bringing in like all of the places from abroad, so it's like I think you have England and Poland from Europe, but then it's America, Australia, Argentina and New Zealand, so you get a bit more sort of continental variation, which is quite nice. I think we lost quite a lot of time in that last sector for some reason. Maybe I was just going quite cautiously through the last sector, but at least we get our first track, our first stage where we didn't make any mistakes, which was very nice. Still in 3rd overall, but we should be able to pick it up. But anyway, like I was saying, in each location you have 2 what we call long stages. So the long stages are about 10k in length. They take about 10 minutes potentially to drive in full. Like sort of vary between like 8 and 10, I guess. And then what they do is that they run all of those in reverse, and then they create 2 smaller tracks from splitting those long tracks in half, and then they run both of those in reverse as well. So you end up from just the 2 long tracks, which are impressively have been designed
into
from
right 4 half long, into left 4 long,
you know, actual rally stages
into right 3,
in real life. I think
into
every
left 6
stage in this
crest,
game was actually taken.
and left 5
Like
over
you
crest,
could go on
opens
Google
crest,
Maps and you could
tightens,
drop down the map of
right
the
4 don't
course
cut,
onto Google Maps, which is pretty cool.
100, left 1
And
long,
they're all
crest,
true rally stages. But yeah, so from those 2 long stages,
into right
they
3 long,
get
into turn right 1,
yeah, 8 small stages each. Which is a pretty efficient way of going about it, I would say.
into right 6 long,
It does mean that
into
you do
left
get
6
some
long and
familiarity
above crest,
with the
80.
courses. If you play the game for any length of time, you'll very quickly sort of get
Right
used to the
5 half
locations
long.
and you'll know the tracks.
and
It
left
so
4,
happens,
60.
especially that because Greece
right over crest.
tends...
Left 1 continues for 100.
Greece is the first rally that you always do. Yeah, it's just the default first rally whenever
right
you start
6,
a new profile.
into keep
And
left over crest.
it's also the rally that you have access
Into right
to
6 over crest,
when
jump
you're
maybe
loading in the
80.
game. So if you're downloading
Left
the game,
6,
you
right
know,
5 tightens 2.
whilst the game is downloading, you can
Into left
have a
5
practice
continues
with
for
it.
80.
And Greece is
Caution
the
narrows,
location that they
60
allow
crest.
there as well. So the Greek
Right
tracks
6
you often
long,
see a lot
continues over
of,
crest,
and
jump
you get
maybe
very
80.
familiar with, in comparison to maybe say
Right
the
5 over
Swedish
crest, jump
tracks or
maybe
the
don't
Polish
cut,
tracks.
60 narrows.
Sorry, the Finnish
Left 5
tracks,
half
which
long,
you know,
60.
I'm less familiar with.
Right 5 half long, tightens 3 long, don't
The other
cut,
thing I find with
80.
the Greece tracks is that you can sort of have, you know, that they're quite distinct from one
6.
another. Whereas a lot
right
of the
4
other
tightens, don't
locations, some of the tracks seem quite
And right 5,
similar or
left
don't have
6,
that many defining features.
crest, right 6,
You know,
and
you know
crest,
you're in
and
Greece,
right
or
6.
the Greece tracks when you sort of got
Into
those,
caution, left
you know,
5 long,
which
don't
Greece
cut,
track it
keep
is
mid
when
over
you've
crest,
got
narrows.
those winding
60.
hairpins back and forth or stuff like that. So
Right 6 half long, left 6
there's definitely
80,
sort
keep
of
left past
influence in
junction.
each case with those sort of things going
Right
on.
6 half long, left 5 half long,
Okay,
don't
anyway,
cut,
so
250.
So I think that's all of the sort of housekeeping stuff. Now it's just
Keep
for me
mid
to
over
finish this
small
rally,
crest past
hopefully grab
junction,
second
100.
place, because second overall would be really nice.
Caution slowing, big bump,
Would
right
put me in a
4.
very good position to continue.
Left 5.
As ever,
And left
it's
5
all
times
about
3, don't
being
cut, 100.
consistent over these rally stages.
Caution
So
right
you know
5
you
long, narrows, don't
have
cut. And left 3, don't cut, through depth.
you
And
have.
right 5 crest.
I should also say that
Left
because
1
I'm
long, don't cut.
a noob and because I'm very much not like
Right 6, 60
massively
bump.
into
And right 5 long, opens.
racing sims, I'm obviously using a controller, and
Into left 2 half long, don't
additionally,
cut, 60.
you know, I'm not adjusting the presets, which I know a lot of people would advise that you do, especially if you want to
Left
like
6.
be competing for the fastest times.
Into right 5 long.
Yeah,
Into left 5 half long,
wish I could
narrows.
be
Into right
sort of
5,
invested
60.
enough to do that in some ways. I'm sure
Right
it would
6
help.
over bump, 60.
But a lot of
Left
the time I don't
6,
always
right
feel the
5
difference,
half long,
or
80
a
over
massive
2
amount
small
of difference
jumps.
when I change the presets. So
Into
just
caution
wanted to
right
bring that
4,
up.
don't cut, keep left over crest. 130.
And obviously I've lost my train of thought. Which is
Left 2 tightens 1, don't cut, 80.
oh no, we're talking about consistency, yeah. So because obviously there's six rallies, 6 locations,
six,
you go
120.
through each one, and so if you finish, you know, quite often if you finish second
Right
in every
6,
single
60.
rally, you may well do
Right
better
4
than
half
someone
long,
who finishes
into left
first
5,
in some
60
and
crest.
crashes out in another one. And I have had cases where the strongest
Into right
driver
3 long.
has been particularly incident
left
prone,
2
which
half
has led
long,
to,
don't cut.
you know, me winning the
Right
championship
6
when
long,
really
80.
I was not the fastest driver
Left 6, 80
in
over
the
crest
pack.
jump, maybe.
So it's always worth
Left 6,
continuing,
60.
and I think that's something
Right
that
2 continues for
also
100.
this starter challenge should hopefully promote
60.
in me, at least, this sort of
Left 4 long,
perseverance,
100 over
as opposed
crest
to
jump,
just
maybe.
the mad desire to just want to restart every time you make a mistake.
Caution right 3 half long, narrows.
Still, this is
Into
going pretty
left 6
well,
half long,
and now that
don't
I've said
cut,
that, I'm
80 crest.
inevitably going to crash out, especially
Into
as
keep
this
left over jump.
course starts getting narrower and narrower.
Into caution right 5 over 80, tightens 2, narrows and slippy. Into left 6 half long, don't
I
cut.
think this is the reverse
Right
of the
6.
first track that we did.
Left 6, 80. Right
I
6
almost
continues
certainly
80
is, but-
and tightens 5. Left 5 bad camber, 80 crest jump maybe for finish.
Oh, that wasn't too bad actually. I think we did a decent job there, picking up some time. 10 seconds lost at the end, but 10 seconds down should hopefully be enough to pip. Yes, there we go. Sweet. So our Miller is our clearly going to be our big threat here. We're doing pretty well. We get second overall, and then, yeah, that's always a good start. So we get a bunch of CR credits, I guess, which is quite nice. There you go. So it installs an engine upgrade, which is nice, on the vehicle. So that means it'll be more powerful or whatever. And then here's the key thing. So here you have the championship standings, and as you can see, if you finish in the top 3, you get promoted. Similarly, if you're in Clubman, Professional, Elite or Masters, if you finish in the bottom 3, you get relegated. So we'll see how far we can keep climbing. It's always worth us looking at that to see where we can get and see how consistent we can be. So we'll see what the next event is, and then we'll call this episode to an end, and I will start thinking about setting up my 30-minute timer to record. So we have the Approach Monte, we have Gordelon, Col Sprint, and also the route descent here in Monaco. So I'm going to quit and save after this, save and exit to the menus. Hope you have enjoyed this. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that went. Obviously 2 big incidents sort of cost us a bunch of time overall, but I think, yeah, if you ignore that, we were pretty competitive, pretty damn competitive, which is all I care about in some ways. You know, you want to be in the mix. You don't want to be sort of languishing down in mid-pack in a lot of these things. So before the next time, I will have had my 30 minutes practice on the previous stages, and then we'll start the Monaco rally and see how we fare there. So, hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I hope you'll join me on the next.